It's crazy to me how rejection is such a big part of our life. And yet so many of us, including me, don't have like a resilience for it. And I genuinely think that letting go and facing rejection is a life skill, and learning how to detach too. That's definitely a life skill. So I'm just going to be talking about everything, literally everything, to friends, to limerence, to people that I have liked, everything. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge the hardness of that. Like, it's hard to let go of good people, but not all good people are meant for us. You know what I mean? Like, just because they're a good person doesn't mean that you need to date them. Or if it was a friend and you're in an environment where you don't have a lot of friend options, and so these are the people that you hang out with and have naturally just hung out with, and there's just not a lot of other options out there. That's hard. Like finding someone that you really wanted them to like you, but they don't like you back. That's hard. I've been through all of these, honestly. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge, if you are in that stage, like, it's hard, and growth is not linear, and letting go of someone is definitely not a linear process. But these are just some of the steps that I've taken that have really helped me. So first is I acknowledge the truth of the situation. I'll literally look at the situation and I'll be like, this person said this, or this person did this and it really hurt me, or I've talked about this with this other person, but that person literally did that action that I told them that bothered me and they did it again. Like, acknowledge the reality of that situation, and also like literally write it down. And then step 2 is I'll name my desire. Okay, I'm literally done with this person. I've already done everything that I can, so I'm gonna let go. Or I want to let go. Or I'll be like, I want this person to apologize, or I want this person to put in more effort. And the beauty about this is you're really just acknowledging your feelings. And that's a powerful move. I think that's definitely a powerful move, to acknowledge and to feel those feelings and to write it down and validate yourself. And typically when you name your desire, you'll also come into that place of, have I done something to make this desire happen, or have I not? Have I communicated, or have I not? Like that kind of thing. And so you kind of get that next course of action. And I guess the third step after naming your desire is to acknowledge that situation again, and ask yourself, have I done something or not? And if you look at the situation again and you're not really getting any perspective out of it, I think this is the perfect time to talk about it with your friends. Hey, I'm dealing with this, or your parents, or you can journal from a third person perspective. And I've done that before with some potential conflicts that have happened. I'll write down from a third person perspective. So I'll be like, Amy said this and this and this. It's clear to me that she's annoyed because of this and this and this. And so she brought it up. And then this person said blank, 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 blank. And that helps you really ground yourself and really see the situation for what it is, even though it is I think a perceivement exercise. But I think for me, like some of the things that I wrote down and I was able to reflect on, I say, okay, maybe next time I really shouldn't say it that way, or like maybe I shouldn't really say this at all. So it's really, really, really good. And this is the part, like, communication is part of closure, but I'm a huge firm believer that you can always give yourself what you want to receive. And there are times where you're going to have to give yourself what you need because that other person can't fulfill it for you, such as closure. And there's two sides to this. Like, I think a lot of us, this is the problem that I see in a lot of relationships, is that unhealthy communication, I think a lot of us tend to, in unhealthy communication, a lot of us tend to already predict or try to assume what that other person is going to say or feel when we mention the problem that we have. Okay, so I had a friend, I think this is best told in a story. I had a friend, her boyfriend didn't tell her about something until way later on. Like, I think it was about some plan that he had made for spring break, whatever. And he didn't tell her until kind of like a little bit later. And she was kind of already assuming that they were going to do something together. And she was just feeling hurt. Like, why didn't you say this before? Why are you just telling me this now? And he like didn't understand. Like, he was like, well, like, I'm allowed to make plans. We don't need to do everything together. Why do you feel so hurt? I don't really understand. And so then she came to me and she was like, well, like I do feel hurt, and it's not even because like he had made, you know, his own plans. It's literally just because he told me this late. Like I feel so hurt, but should I feel hurt? Should I feel bothered? Okay, I think this is when a lot of things surface. This is exactly what I told her. I said, oh, I almost just said her name. Sorry. Okay, I said blank name. I said, it doesn't really necessarily matter if your boyfriend understands why you feel hurt. As your boyfriend, he should already, the basic minimum thing to do here is to care about how you feel. And what you felt was hurt because you weren't communicated. Okay? And he should automatically care about how you feel because that's just part of being a boyfriend. And that is totally intended for friendships, I believe too. If I feel hurt about something, I totally expect you to feel hurt about it and sad about it with me, because that's literally on empathy, and that's this mutual caring. Like I would do the same for you. And in the very least, if I was in the boyfriend situation or whatever, like in any situation where my friend or my significant other was hurt, I would automatically apologize. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that is what should be normalized or what is normalized, what isn't normalized. Like, I don't know, but that's, I just know I would do that. And that to me is what feels right. Because you're really respecting that other person. And this is the thing, is that a lot of us, like, I think what's really interesting, also another point from this past conflict, is that she mentioned it to me first, that she felt hurt about it, instead of mentioning it to him, like specifically, directly, because it almost was like she kind of already assumed what he was going to say or what he was going to feel about the situation. And so like she was like, oh yeah, he's just like going to be like, oh, like, okay, whatever, like next time I'll tell you, whatever, blah, move on. Which, like, I don't know. I just feel like if you could be potentially stumping a growth opportunity by not mentioning what bothers you, because you're so you're so focused on what that other person is going to think, when that's not your job. It's literally not my job to like really predict and try to assume what that other person is going to say. My job is to figure out what is the problem. Is there a problem? What is the problem? How am I going to get that across in a respectful, loving way? That's my task. How you deal with that is your task. And that's part of growing up. That's literally part of adulting, is we receive a task, you receive a task, you deal with that task, I am going to deal with my task. That's on separation of task theory, which completely changed my life in the way that I am thinking now. But like, truly, that's why I think it's pointless when you, and the thing is, the root of this problem is never solved. If you're just thinking like, oh, I already know what he's going to say, I already know she's going to react to that way. You don't know. You literally don't know. And plus, if they do react badly, and let's say like you assumed like, oh, they're just going to be mean or they're not going to care. Let's say they do react that way. That's on them. That's their issue. That is totally their issue. And that should not reflect on who you are. You already took the time to bring up whatever was bothering you, and then you express your feelings in a respectful way. You already did your part. You already came halfway. Now it's their part to walk towards that halfway step. And also, when you do bring something that bothers you and they react, like, there's so many ways that they can react. They can react like in a really understanding and apologize and loving way. They can react like that. They could cry and somehow make you feel guilty. They could yell. They could just like sweep it under the rug and totally make you not feel valid. That reaction is literally how you can tell if you want to be friends with that person or date that person, because it shows how much level of respect they have towards you by how they react to what you are feeling. And that's also really scary. That's scary, because what if you really like this person? And what if you really enjoy being around this person? And it's like you've been dating for a while, or you've been friends with this person for a while, but just lately you've been noticing that their attention is decreasing and they're just like acting different towards you. And you don't want to figure out like how they're going to react when you bring up that situation, because you already feel like they're not going to care. That hurts. That genuinely hurts. And it's not a fun place to be at all. Ooh, I feel like I need to pause. But this is when you realize the magic in you. The magic in you and the fact that you committed, you communicated, you cared for this person, you took the time out of the day to, feed your attention, your focus on them. That's what made them special, is your attention on them. And now, this is the fourth and final process that I take, is I shift that focus back into myself. And that has always what's gotten me in my optimum mental, physical health, emotional health. Like I always do this. This is the final step that I take, is I literally just shift it all back into myself. I respect, I care for myself, I commit to myself, I communicate with myself, I take the time out of the day to be present with myself. And that's on retrieving, is that the word? Your autonomy and your control and your sense of life back, is to just bring it all into yourself and know that you can always give yourself what you want to receive, such as closure, such as attention. And the thing is, this is a whole separate topic, but limerence. I need to bring up the actual definition for this part. Limerence is an involuntary state of intense, obsessive, romantic infatuation with another person, characterized by a strong desire for reciprocation, intrusive thoughts, and emotional highs and lows dependent on the object of affection's perceived interest. Typically, to sum this all up, it's literally desire because of lack of knowing that person. And you just become hyper fixated. Okay, this is what brought me into this. I think I was talking about attention. So in psychology, when you notice that someone's attention is decreasing and lessening on you, it can trigger attraction. Isn't that crazy? Because you start to put that person on a pedestal. And think, what do they have that I don't have that makes them not like me? So you put them on this social, like whatever, and that can trigger attraction. What? Yeah. As much as it hurts, I think really the reminder that you need is you deserve to be loved and chosen, and not almost loved and almost chosen. Even in friendships too, and no matter how much it hurts to let go of that other person, just know that there's so much beauty found in solitude. And this is another thing I want to talk about, is solitude is literally just to be able to be present with yourself, and it's actually a cure to loneliness. Solitude and loneliness is opposite. Being in solitude means you're at peace with yourself. And it's hard because when you are in that stage of solitude and you may feel sometimes a little bit lonely and you're desiring that human connection, know that that's normal. I think I was in a place where I was in a solitude, like in a peaceful, content by myself era for such a long time, for literally like 2 years, I want to say, that when I actually liked a guy, it took me, this is me being vulnerable, by the way, it took me literally a year to confess to my best friend that I even liked this guy. And this was after I was like in the process of just like letting go. Like I was like, this is a really good guy, but like I think he's not meant for me. I was telling that to my best friend, like, yeah, like I actually think I really liked this guy. And my best friend was stunned. Because she was like, what do you mean? Like all of us knew that except for you. And that's literally crazy. That's how independent and how kind of not closed off, but like in a way closed off I was to that side of emotion. And I was like, I wonder what that really says about me. Like, do I have an attachment disorder? Like, am I afraid of connection? Like, why did I crash out so hard over liking this guy? And like, why did I have to keep it a secret? And like, did I feel the need to keep it a secret? And it's not, okay, it wasn't because I ChatGPT'd this and like put my way through it. But for us, independent, eldest thought daughter woman out there, It's not because we don't want connection. It literally just means we have a strong baseline of self-sufficiency. So no, there's nothing wrong with you for being obsessed over a guy for a few days. Like, that's kind of the best fun part about having a crush. And your crash outs are sometimes a little bit valid. Like, I guess what I'm saying is I was just so uncomfortable with the idea of desiring someone. I felt like I was lacking in myself, but really it was a desire for social connection, which is so normal as us humans. And I think in society these days, like in culture, we're so obsessed with labeling each other. What kind of attachment disorder do you have? What horoscope do you have? What's your 16 personalities? Are you type A, type B, or type C person? Whatever. The list goes on and on and on. And it becomes a problem when we, like, I've asked some of those questions before. I don't believe in horoscopes, but like I love 16 personalities. I love the attachment, like, disorders and learning about them in childhood. Like, I love that kind of stuff. But the problem becomes when we label this person and then that is their whole personality. Like, that we don't see them as a whole individual with lots of different sides to that person. And I think that's when it becomes dangerous. So I don't know. That was a really side tangent. That's just on a side note. Let's get back into this. I say that you can always give yourself what you want to receive, but there are some intangible things such as synchronized breathing, a shared laughter, literally the energy that exists between two people and when they have chemistry. Like, there's this one quote I love from Everything I Know About Love, by Dolly Alderton, and she says, like, our deepest, like, emotional blueprints and fingerprints all touch out and reach each other in subconscious ways, which is why people with similar childhoods or similar trauma tend to bond and connect together, because subconsciously we all have these fingerprints in our brain and our personalities and our souls that reach out and, like, interact, and that's chemistry, and that's, you know, like, infatuation and love and, like, all of that in a healthy or in an unhealthy way. And it's so true. And those type of things, being seen and feeling like you're in a community, like, those are all things that you need either a mass group of people or you need another person to do that. And so in that stage of solitude and maybe the potential, like, some feelings of loneliness, just remind yourself that we are social creatures and you definitely need good relationships. And this is the place of recognizing and having gratitude for the friendships that really are so special, that where you feel seen and whole and loved and fulfilled. And just know that these are some of the phases through life. It's a transitional phase. Think of it as that, instead of saying, oh my word, I'm never going to find friends, or oh my word, everybody hates me, and dwelling on that insecurity. Just think of it as a transitional phase, and that there's time and there's always new people, and it may seem hard to believe, but there's a list of people out there that haven't met you that are just dying to meet you. And yeah, shift that focus back into yourself and retrieve yourself back. The art of letting go is literally retrieving yourself, is to be so comfortable in your own skin that you realize in your bones that you are enough and that you don't deserve this, and you're letting go. You're letting go. That's the art of letting go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This was a huge rant, and I do feel like this is a hard topic, so I hope I didn't come across like you have to do these 4 steps, but I do hope that maybe it has helped you, maybe it has given you a little bit of a different perspective. And one of my friends said this on my last podcast. She said, Amy, like, I feel like your way of thinking is going to change so much when you're in a relationship. I hope so. Like I said, I am so ready to be challenged. Like, if you disagree with me, please comment. Like, I'm ready. Like, attack me, literally attack me, because I want to, like, this is exactly why I'm documenting, like, recording this, because I want to document that subtle shifts and change of the way that I think and the way that I love people and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, again, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, wow, like, genuinely, I love you.